Hello, today we're going to learn how to what, sir?
Disassemble the rivet unit and install a new air cylinder that breaks off on the rivet pusher.
Okay, so the first thing we're doing is removing
Top rivet shoe.
top rivet.
Don't need that for now, just getting rid of that. Springs can stay. I don't know if you even have a video part of this, but this is what we were replacing.
Yes, it is.
New cylinder in there, and we start from the bottom. We've got to get this unit out.
Okay, so we have removed this.
Yep.
Just like so. Yep. Set it aside.
And while we're here, this is what you got to watch for. Socket head cap screws in here and in here, because there's 6 in each one. There's 2, 4, 6 for each half of the unit. 2 units in here, each has 6 screws. Take off this tube support bracket.
Tube support bracket.
Troublesome unit coming out.
Okay, so we're lifting the unit out after we've
Disconnected the sensor.
took that off.
Lay this down, and we're going to take off the, I call them reed switches. I don't know what they're actually called.
Yep,
here,
I would do the same thing.
We're going to remove them so we can get the cylinder out. What do I know about this? You have to remove these screws here. Pull that cap off, and they are metric. You got to remove the top rivet unit from the sub-assembly and disconnect. Push to connect. Line. This is all we need right now. That's good.
Inside the unit, there is this banner, which can be tested with this right here. Okay, so we have an 8mm socket.
This is an adjustment. I'm not disturbing the adjustment. I'm just slipping it over top of that, pulling it out of the bottom of the cylinder.
Very good.
Actually remove this. This is broke, so I'm not too concerned about it. I'm probably just going to put a wrench on there when I can find one. I'm going to spin that cylinder right out and replace it with this one. It is timed so that that inlet is down, basically 90 degrees down, so that it feeds back on top when it's assembled. So we have to time it.
Okay, so we have taken a wrench and we've just screwed it right out and removing the clips that hold the sensors in place.
Okay, so this is spring forward under its own power, and then it's air retract. So that's how that feeds. That was junk. Let me get the new one out here, show you. I don't even know if you can get this on there, but that's the number of the new one. SMC brand.
SMC brand.
Not happening?
Nope, not happening.
In. We're going to see where we're timed at. I don't think we're going to. I'm not going to make it.
Yep.
And actually, to back out that far, to get it where you can use it, let's go ahead and put the washer on that was on the other one. I don't even know if it's going to be the same. See what that does for our timing. Usually check it without doing that first. Oh, hey. Keep that even. This might be close. You know what? We're going to leave it there.
Excellent.
That's not loose though, like the other one. This one here,
Yep.
I don't know how that's really going to affect it. I think we're going to leave it like that.
Should be good.
Jam screw, jam set screw. I'm going to turn this in. No, we won't. Because I got to put, oh yeah, the jam nut's on the other side, I'm sorry. Jam nut goes on that side. I can put this in, this can go in before it gets dropped down inside.
Yep.
Like that. But I'm going to put the jam nut on now with the star washer.
Yep.
Just to get us roughed in. I have no idea where we're supposed to be at. What's the other one look like? Not that that's really any indication, but... Alright, now we're
I think we're looking at maybe 3 or 4 threads left over on the end. So, all right.
tight. Alright. Port matches up. I'm going to go ahead, put this back in place. Goes like that. This goes like this.
Once again, minding to the fact not to alter the setting on it at all.
Right.
You're just tightening it down.
Yeah, I'm going to, the 8mm socket fits right over that, doesn't disturb it.
Right.
I'm not even saying, I've never adjusted these. That's the factory setting as far as I'm aware of. And it seemed to work fine. So. What you don't want to have happen is having this flying up in there. And we were testing that with the plate off, and it looked like it was working fine. So, okay. All right. Now, all the adjustments, you can make some adjustments here. And you can see this is off a mile because this, well, we won't even go that far. We have to screw this out so that that gets closer to the end of that pocket where it's going to push on the rivet. Point being that under the normal retract of this cylinder, which it's being pushed forward on its own, we have all that slop that we have to take out. So now we'll adjust on that. I put it in there too far. Okay. Yep. So now I'm just checking to see where to put this pusher adjustment. And that's really walking around. That's too much. So we're going to take this cylinder and turn it out more to push that forward. I get a little tighter than that. Stay up here in this part of the cylinder so you don't mess it up where it feeds back into the bushing. This part back here.
Okay, so we're hooking our tester up right now. Yep. Got it.
Made my banner. Light beam.
Yep, we can see it in the camera.
And if you take that light beam and you break it, you get an output. Now it's giving output 1 and 2, but that's how she works.
Yep.
So,
got it.
Everything's good there. I can put this back together and button it up. Just want to make sure that air hose pushes in the whole way. Yep, there it goes. Give it a test. We're good to go. Down over top. Make sure your margins look good. They don't, so something is not quite right. Oh, we're hitting on the fitting. Fitting is not where it belongs. We're where we belong. Good and tight. 4 bolts, snugged up. They don't have to be killer tight. We still have some more fine adjustment to do here, but I'm going to go ahead and put it back in so I have something to work with. Oh, you know what? Before we do that, we're going to go ahead and we're going to work on these clamps. We've got to get these back where they belong. Hook up the first reed switch. When you do this thing here, there's like a home that you can feel when this thing's where it belongs. This is not correct. Somewhere you'll feel it click into place. Now it's making a liar out of me. There it goes. You feel it click into place. You can actually use the other one as a judge. And this here is in too far, actually. I haven't done this for a little bit. How did that come out of it? There, hang on. When it's in its proper position, this metal tab on the bottom of the sensor itself, not the holder, is usually about 1/8 of an inch back from the end of that black part there. I don't know if you can see that, this tab. Because it does slide up, you want to pull it back. You'll feel it hitting something back here, I'm not sure exactly what, but that's when it's in its home position. That's when you put it in here. This one is marked front, so we're going to put that in the front position. We can pull, to make it easier, we can pull it back to here. Squeeze on this. Grab, I lost the screw. Grab the metric socket head cap screw. Give it a squeeze to get that thing to start. Okay, it doesn't engage by much. Push that down where it goes, and if we can, we'll work that thing to the front with it not being tight. There we go. Alright, that was marked front. That tab, the sensor itself in the body of the clamp, it still has that tab back about 1/8 of an inch, and you'll notice that when you're putting it together that will want to slide around. Just make sure it's there. And the other thing that I do, you can do it 2 ways. You can use a marker and get this distance set between here and here. This is your first sensor. You don't want to put this on arbitrarily anywhere. It has to be roughly within, I think that's 3/8 of an inch. I'll go get a calipers and I just measure it. You can use paint markers and before you take it apart, but that just wears off. Let me grab a pair of verniers. A known good position. It's not really super fussy. I'm just taking a measurement up against the back of the body. 3/8 of an inch. We're going to do the same thing with this one. Eventually, we're going to get the other one in place. The clamps are started, both in position, and they're not tightened down because I don't have them at the right spacing yet, but I'll worry about that when I flip it up. Make sure it's clean. The track looks good. We're going to slide this into place and drop it right down. And that's in the home position, so that's good. Now, I'm going to work on these clamps. This one here will be in line with that one, and this one will be in line with the other one. I'll put them where they belong. Don't bolt anything down yet. I just slide it up against. It's still set to 3/8. We're going to measure between them. Let's get that dimension a while. That is supposed to be 1 inch 3/30. I remember that from before. Slide that close. You can't push on that because that's not tight yet. And this, I bet you the accuracy on this is plus or minus 1/8 of an inch. But I don't know for sure, so I just put it right back. So we got that in line. We will double check everything and we'll go ahead and tighten these up. I just push them up against here, keep them parallel. I don't kill it because I don't want to break it. And we can double check our dimensions. We should have 3/8 about 360, and this is 1.33. That's really close. So we're good. That'll work. Everything's tight on that. So we drop it back in place again. We should be able to see. Oops. Should go. Looks good. It's in position. This clamp isn't rotated. The socket head cap screw is not rotated and hitting the body of the other one. That looks good when you look down on top of that. And just for giggles, we'll hook this up one more time. I want to get this on the camera. There is a flash rate that we want to duplicate when you put this back together or make any kind of adjustments. The Banner sensor in there has this light pulsing at that speed. That's a good speed. What I can do is I can adjust this. I don't know, this screwdriver might be too big. You can put it in.
Yep, that's a lot faster.
And you do it. If you get too far into the cycle, this won't drop out at the right sensitivity. It'll see anything. You want to make it weak enough. If you go too far, now you're not going to sense anything. It's already sending it like it sees something, and there isn't anything there. So you got to watch your sensitivity. That's too slow. That's a little fast. Right about there. And that can be adjusted in the press. If you find out that through the run it's changed it. But I usually get like a pulsing like that.
Got it. Just to make sure we can see. Yep, good.
I always check that when it comes over here to make sure someone wasn't in there playing around. One time it came over here and that was turned off, and that was some of the problem with reading the rivet. And I'm not sure what happened there. I always double check it, that way it doesn't come back. We can finalize, before we get too far into this, let's finalize our rivet travel under or over. That's a little loose. So we will continue to turn this shaft out. Take our jam nut back. That's still probably going to be a problem. Get that back. At this point, we're just going to tighten the jam nut up. We think we have it set where we'd like it. Okay. And when I get really close, I'm going to tighten that down, but I'm not going to do it until I get where I want it. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and tighten that down.
And again, just snug.
Yep, I don't kill it, because I want the next guy to be able to get it out without drilling it out. That in concert with the cylinder jam nut, we should be good to go. And this is another area I don't think you want to over tighten it. But you can't have it come loose. It's easier to get it nice and snug and not damage anything when it's all the way back in the cylinder, so it's not up front getting torqued all over the place.
Yep, agreed.
You can hold it back as far as you can. That actually might be too much. And what you're looking for is to make sure this doesn't come up here and want to tilt every time. I don't think it can, because mechanically it's hitting the base of that slot, the base of the rivet slot, so I don't know that it really can overtravel.
The only way that it could
If this
is
is
the
big-
variance in the rivets themselves.
Right, exactly.
Okay.
I like what I see.
Good.
We're going to button it up and leave it there. Sensor connector, fiber optic connector is connected. We're just going to put the tube holder back into place before we put the bolts in underneath. Tighten that up.
Just snug. Aluminum block. So as we turn it over, we're holding that in.
so it doesn't fall out on its own.
Right. And then
These screws work best starting them backwards. Don't ask me why, but if you run her backwards and then run it forward, the screw will pick its thread up much easier. You can sometimes, well, that one right in. Sometimes it won't catch. These are, there's one in here, and there's one in here, way up in that pocket. First time we tried to take this apart, the gentleman was working on it on the bench and he couldn't get this unit out because this screw was still in. He didn't realize that they were back up in here. I can't get that started, so I'm going to go back, catch the lead. They don't engage by much. These are a blind screw. You can do the offset pattern tightening if you like. I'll have to. And we'll double check these, make sure nothing's loose there. Okay, that's good. This unit, these are the rivet eject pins. They are loose so that they float in the holder. It's nice to keep a little bit of grease on it so that it doesn't bind up anywhere. They're only an 1/8 inch in diameter. You can actually center it.
Okay.
When I tighten it up, I try to center it. It's loose in here because those pins are floating. So I'd like to give it even margins around the counter bore. That way I know it's not just hanging there favoring one side. It seems to be a little bit more free. You can do it that way.
when the pins go to fire, correct?
Yes.
Yep.
That way you're not binding on that holder or the pins. Now, unfortunately, there's really no way to test it other than with an air nozzle, and I do that. Definitely not OSHA approved. I shouldn't say that. They're free. They're air actuated and spring return. They're free. They're good. I guess this could be put on backwards, but front. I want this to be free. This is the upstroke, the bottom stroke, and then this is the upstroke under power by the springs. Shoulder bolts back in without launching it to you. And it moves on me. These are 3 hands of this. That's good. The thread caught. Put this in. This does have grease on it. I don't like to put it back in the dry. This way a little bit. Grab a few threads on that. And then just work it down. Oh, I know what to do.
Ta-da!
That's it.
And that is it.
Cylinder replaced. When it's properly installed, the rivet eject pins had better be below the surface of the seat on the rivet, and they are. So, and this is flushed out. You know you have it in the right position.
And if they aren't, that'll cause the rivets to pop every time they go to load themselves.
Right. It's free. It returns on its own. Everything feels good. We got the hose back where it belongs. That's it. There's a top cap. It's a single unit that spans both of these half units, and it's thumb screwed down when it's in position. It has the clamps on for the tubes in the back. We don't have it here, but when you pull that off after using it for a while, I always take a stone, a fine stone, and I stone the back of it, because there will be little burrs where the rivet transitions from one level to the next. It's hitting they must fly around in there with the air pressure, and it actually, even though it's 41-40 pre-hard, it still puts a little bit of track in it. So just double check that, make sure you stone that real good, and on the top of this, you should be good to go. No birds. Run it.
All right, that's it. Thank you very much.